Hello and welcome to the Peak Endurance Podcast. You look like you're shorter than me. So for everyone not watching on YouTube, that was random. My name is Isabel Tate, and with me is
Ron Tate. That's my name.
And together we are the Peak Endurance Podcast.
We are. We're also Mr. and Mrs. Tate.
We are. Okay. So anyway, it's been a little bit.
It has, yeah.
We're only a few days late. It just feels like time just gets away, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Yeah, when
we've been flat out like lizards drinking.
We have, yeah. And things just, slip away.
Yes, indeed. So a little bit of an update. We've been getting in some big runs.
We have, yeah.
We did a 50K run. We went out to Marysville, and I was the course leader extraordinaire,
which went
really
great.
shit.
It went great until we missed a couple of turnoffs.
I was talking and we missed one turn. Well, I stopped at the turnoff, but the map didn't catch up. And you went, no, we wouldn't be going that way. And I'm like, oh, and then we went past it for about a K and a bit, and then we had to go back
down
a steep hill. Oh.
So then we had
love and life
back up that steep hill.
And then what was the other one?
The second one when we hit the road and
we went the wrong direction.
We turned left
because I had the map upside down.
Which is looking great for Buck.
And that's why I go to Buck and you don't. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm actually better with a paper map and a compass than the goddamn.
The compass tells you which way is north.
Yeah, like you can't fuck that one up, well, but when you've got the one on the phone, it's hard.
It's hard. It doesn't tell you what direction you're actually
But I did have a gut feeling, and that's what made us stop. I said, my gut says this is wrong. So I actually have a good gut feeling for direction. Just a shit map.
It took a little while for that gut to kick in.
Yes, it did. We had to go through some undulations. So we did end up with 4 extra Ks in total, and a couple of 100 meters of extra vert.
That's right. Yeah. So
and then
all good training.
It was good training. Yeah, well, I didn't care. We had a bit of an adventure on the way home. Well, we didn't. The guy in front of us did.
Oh, of course, yeah. Oh, but also before we go to that, remember we were running along. This is this is a great great advertisement for taking your snake bandages with you. We were running along. That was a narrow trail with long grass.
Well, with narrow, it was actually a wide trail, but because it had been used by 4 drives, it was a narrow bit that we were on. So there was a lot of grass. There was a lot of grass because 4 drives would go along it. And so you've got the grass on one side and then the tire track and the grass in the middle between the 2 tires. So
that's right. And we came around a slight bend. It was just enough of a bend that we couldn't actually see around it.
Oh, you were ahead.
I was leading at the time. Isabel was, 2 meters behind me, and came around the bend, and there was a snake lying across the trail, and I saw it, and I pulled up really fast, but I might have given a bit of a squeak. Which obviously frightened the snake. And as I stopped, the snake actually launched at me.
And I was like, I'm often, when I run behind Ron, I tend to kind of switch my brain off and go off into la la land. But even my instincts kicked in. I heard you. It wasn't your normal scream.
Which is my normal scream when you say snake.
It was a bit more manly.
I think I might have done that when I saw a snake after.
Yeah, you did after. But this one, it was more of a sort of a sign, because I think you also not only screamed, but you also jumped 3 kilometers into the air. So there was that oomph sign.
Yeah, that's
right. And I actually saw the snake up in the air launching at you.
It instantly reared, and then as I stopped, it launched towards me. So I was luckily able to jump backwards because I pulled up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And so I jumped backwards, and Isabel nearly ran into me and pushed me back in towards the snake.
Well, no, exaggeration much. No, I pushed you out of the way so I could film it.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So got to be careful.
Yeah.
Some snakes, their first instinct is to
Launch.
quickly. Well, no. Well,
Most
ability
is to run away.
to slither away as quick as they can. This one went into full defensive mode and actually.
And it's just very strange that in all my years of mountain biking, running, bushwalking for my entire childhood, I have never seen snakes until I met you. I've spent, like, of my 53 years, I've spent over 30 years in the bush. I have been with you 4 years, and that's the only time I've seen snakes.
Yeah, and we see
Like,
them.
can you explain that to me?
No, I can't.
I can.
I'm
It's like the law of attraction. You're so terrified of them. You go, I don't want to see a snake. So the universe hears, see a snake, see a snake, see a snake.
Yeah, and I see them all the time.
And you do.
All the time.
You know?
Yep. And so this one really gave me a fright because I had to react twice.
It actually gave me a fright. Like, normally I'm not frightened of snakes, so I didn't go quite as close when I was filming as I normally did.
Yeah.
You'll see there was a video of it. Look, I did a quick montage video of our trip. So have a look. Trip, run.
Yeah.
Have a look, and you can see the snake in there. It was
yes, that was as it had, gone back into I'm getting the hell out of here mode.
Yeah, I was a bit nervous about getting too close in case it did rear up. But but we did see a couple other snakes.
And saw a couple of other snakes. It was a long day. It was a nice day, but it was a long day.
Yeah. And it's a lot of it towards the end is out in the open, right when it gets warm. And anyway,
so that was a good day. And then as we
God, this is an hilarious
to get home from Marysville, you have to drive through
the Black Spur,
a pretty windy mountainy road called the Black Spur here in the eastern outskirts of Melbourne.
It's a road.
Very windy, quite hilly. And we just happened to pull in behind a car and a police car.
So there was this car, fairly sort of sporty looking, and what was it? Is Mad Jacks or something? His number plate, bit of a wanky number plate. But this cop car, and it wasn't just a car; it was a four-wheel drive. Yeah,
four-wheel drive, like a country cop car.
Yeah, but a big one. Yeah. And by God, this cop was tailgating the living shit out of this guy. He should be getting booked for that.
Right. If he wasn't a cop car, he would have been breaking the law.
Doing the speed limit, and this cop car is tailgating on a windy road with hairpin bends and everything.
Literally, there were times when he was like a meter behind it.
God, if the guy put on his brakes, it'd have been rear-ended.
Yep.
And not only was he tailgating the shit out of the guy, he was all over the road. I swear to God, he was texting whilst tailgating.
There was times when he was on the wrong side of the road. There were times when his wheels were in the dirt. Yeah.
The dirt on the side. It was like, we're just like, oh my God, this is like freaky. Anyway, so we finally we get towards town and the cop car pulls off, and then we stop at some lights and we stop next to the guy. And we wind our windows down. He's like, oh my God, that was terrifying. He's going, I'm pulling over I'm so stressed.
He looked like he was sweating the whole time.
Sweating bullets, that guy. And I'm just like, oh my God, he was tailgating you so much. And he's like, I know. And he was like, could you see him all over the road? And we're like, yes.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. I have never seen anything like that. Like, this cop was such a bad driver.
That's right.
If it had been anyone else, I'd have been, I wish the cops were here to pull him over.
Yeah, that's right. And, it's not like it was an emergency. He didn't have his lights flashing or anything. He was just in full tailgate mode.
And it was so dangerous because this other car wasn't doing over the speed limit. No, admittedly, we would normally go faster than that. We normally would go over the speed limit. Everybody does, of course. But this guy, because he had a cop behind him, had to stick to the speed limit. So why the fuck was the cop car hassling him?
I don't know, but
And he was clearly not in a hurry because once he did turn off, he just turned off casually.
Down the side road as we came into Hillsborough. Yeah.
It was bizarre.
It
was so bizarre. It was just like, that is just so random, so weird.
Yeah, but he was obviously in a hurry, but not in enough hurry to put his emergency lights on and go around. Like, he could have easily gone around this guy, putting his lights on and making him pull over.
Very, very strange, and just the phenomenally bad driving as well.
That's right.
Like, I used to cycle through the Black Spur. If that cop car had been around, I'd have been knocked off my bike.
That's right.
Anyway,
So that was
oh my
quite
God.
eye-opening for the drive home.
It certainly gave us some
Yeah, it
laughs,
did. Yep.
you know. And so then the next day we did 15K,
Yeah. Just
just
into
under
the
Goongala
yeah
and that
to
sort of stuff.
lower sections of the Dandenongs.
And then the following weekend, Ron was still he's not 100% confident about Hut to Hut.
No, it's looming like a like a big, I don't know, red
Looming thing.
looming thing over my head.
So we went out into the
Jesus.
hills from home, and we were going to do 50K with how much vert? I can't remember. 2.5.
Yeah.
But we did like 48, 49 with 2-3.
Yeah. So
Because we were just like, oh, we're
just
so done. We just want to go home.
Cut out the final hill and headed
Yeah,
home.
yeah, because it
And then added in
another extra hill.
just
Yeah, just for shits and giggles.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a tough day out because I think we still had accumulated fatigue from the Marysville run. And normally I wouldn't prescribe 250K runs in a week, but we haven't really done anything long.
Yeah.
I mean, I trust myself that I could do it and my original plan was just to do 35K runs and then I'll just bang out the 100 because I've done so many hundreds now after last year that I have no fear of that at all. But Ron obviously hasn't done as much as me, and he doesn't have as much of the ultra running in over time.
That's right. And none of the I did 400s last year, but
which is a lot for most people.
Yeah, but none of them have the climbing.
Yes, whereas I did Buffalo and Switzerland, so I know I can get through it. And also climbing has always intimidated you a little bit, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So and I've always done so much vert that,
And the other thing that I'm very nervous about is when we get to 70 or 80 Ks, that's when Isabel
warms up.
Her diesels kick in, and I'm a little bit worried that I won't be able to keep up with her.
He's already saying that. I'm like, whatever.
So yeah.
You'll be fine.
Yeah.
You'll be fine. You will surprise yourself, and it's good to be nervous because it makes sure you get everything done. But now we're really cutting back, getting the taper in. Well, I'm not so much because Hut to Hut's actually part of my training. It's not really.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to overly taper. So that's also why you'll be fine because I'll probably still be a little bit tired. So yeah. So if you're going to Hut, make sure you say hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah.
And
so we'll be obviously doing the race on the Friday. Hopefully we get it done on the Friday, and then we'll be
we've booked accommodation for the Saturday night too, so we'll be there till Sunday because it's like checkout's like at 1 o'clock. It's great. So we're going to be there. So if you see us after the races, we'll be hanging around.
Yeah, that's right.
Like not literally at the end of the race, but the Saturday we'll be wandering around the village, and Sunday. So if you see us, say hello. Because we would love to chat.
That's right. Yeah.
And anything else update-ish wise? What else has been happening? Not a lot.
Not a lot. I mean, we've been also doing a midweek hilly run as well. But
because Ron had to do jury duty last week.
Yeah. So I was called into the city to do some jury duty. So
he got to go into work late. Well, he had to go in later. So we got to run together during the week.
Yeah, which is not normally what we do.
No. So I've been doing the midweek 20K run, hilly run for a while now. For all the school holidays, really. But yeah. So you had jury duty, and that was something interesting, something different.
That's right. Never done it before, so that was a bit of an eye opener. All the processes of doing jury duty.
And you were the jury boss.
I was the foreman.
Yes, that's it. That's the word.
Which really all it meant was the judge addressed me personally because
he was every day. G'day, Ron.
Mr. Foreman.
Oh, Mr. Foreman. It wasn't G'day, Ron.
No, it wasn't G'day, Ron.
Didn't give you a little.
I was G'day number 33. Not very personalised, but there you
go. So anyway, so for us it's just, school goes back soon, so or it has, but CRT work doesn't start soon and straight away, because surely most teachers aren't sick in the first week. Like God knows you feel it going back to school. Anyway, so
we're just between, because Hut to Hut is in 2 weeks or 2 and a bit weeks,
and then sometime no definitives, but some a while after that we go off to America.
Yep.
And then I'll be going to Canada to visit my daughter. Planning on doing Fat Dog 120. And my daughter and her boyfriend are going to crew for me. So he'll have just met me. So
Yeah.
won't that be an eye opener for
He'll
him?
meet her, and then you'll see her in all her glory.
Yes. My daughter's going, oh, he's nervous to meet you. And I'm like, oh, just you wait till he sees me 100 miles into 120 miler. Yeah, so anyway, that'll be fun.
Yeah, so basically I am starting my taper this week.
Yes.
Which brings us around to what we
Talking
actually
about
just
taper. That's right. I
spoke
forgot
about
we're
for-
doing a podcast.
Yes.
So Ron, could you please explain to us what is a taper and why is it crucial for runners?
Yeah, sure. So
using our carefully pre-planned. We
That's
plan
right.
these things, you know, people.
I need to move the word
I was
bit
about to
further
say,
away so that I'm not wearing my
I want to wear
glasses.
my glasses.
My ego says I can't wear the glasses on the podcast.
Oh,
So
seriously.
the taper is a period of reduced training volume and intensity leading up to a race. It typically occurs in the final 2 to 3 weeks before
I like
the
to go
event.
for a 3-week taper. If
Yep.
it was just 10K 1 week, you know, a
Yeah.
half marathon 2 weeks, a marathon 2 to 3 weeks, like depending on the person, but
Yeah.
definitely for an ultra 3 weeks.
Yep. So the purpose of the taper is to allow the body to recover from the accumulated fatigue of training while maintaining fitness and maximizing performance on race day.
So did you hear that? It's maintaining fitness. So
Yeah.
the taper does work on keeping the fitness. And yes, sorry.
And of course, you know, as we'll go into a bit further on, taper doesn't mean to stop running.
No, it absolutely doesn't. We should have looked up what the definition of taper was. Anyway, and many runners do feel anxious during the taper, fearing that they will lose their fitness, you know, and that's where you see on Strava people cramming in a last minute run. You know, I've got that video where I talk about how you ruin your taper doing a long run a week before because you're scared you'll lose your fitness and all that. But it's not about losing fitness. It's about giving your body the chance to fully recover and adapt to the training. Because I get my athletes to do their last big long run that 3 weeks before. Yeah. So it's a big run. Now you need to adapt. And also it's a chance for those little niggles to settle down. It gives your body time for the muscles to repair and rebuild, energy stores to be replenished. This is not the time to go, oh, I'm cutting back on training, I'm going to diet. You just eat your normal diet, okay? Because your body's going to need that, I'm telling you now. And that way your body becomes stronger for the race.
Yeah, one thing, you know, we've been feeling lately because our training has peaked. We've been feeling pretty fatigued, not only on our long run, but, you know, by the end of the day, you know, we've been quite tired. It doesn't just happen while you're running, and you know, your general day is tiring and wears you out.
I mean, I've always had that with all the races. Even when I was training for marathons, I would get that fatigue. You get fatigue. To be a runner is to be fatigued. You can't expect to feel fresh, springy and awesome throughout the training, the entire training block. It's just unrealistic. So you need to expect that you are going to feel fatigue, and you have to learn to manage that. And that's why getting quality sleep is so important.
So how should runners approach their tapering period? The key to finding the right balance between rest and maintaining some level of activity, it's important to reduce the volume of intensity of your training.
Volume and intensity.
Sorry, volume and intensity of the training, but not to completely stop, as I said. You know, tapering doesn't mean stop running.
No.
It means cutting back and having a bit more rest time, and not taking your body to the point of exhaustion when you're running, or not the point of exhaustion, but where you.
Well, not like those big runs that you would do, because the taper is not a time for cramming in last minute workouts or trying to make up for missed training. Go, oh, I missed this and missed that. I didn't do that workout. This is not the time. That time is gone, and you never make up for missed training. It is what it is. It's built into the program that you may miss some training. Yeah. That's why you do so much training. And that's why it's better to have a bigger block of training, not go, right, I've got 2 months, that'll do. If you've got 4 to 6 months, that means you can miss some sessions and it'll be okay. So don't try to make anything up. You're trying to let your body absorb the training that you've already done. So what's a tip to make the most of your taper on? Give us one tip to start with. Can you read it? You
yeah,
sure?
I think the first one should be you don't poke me in the eye, I won't be able to see it. Gradually reduce your mileage. So you start by reducing the weekly mileage around 20 to 30%. During the first week of the taper, and the second week for a further reduction of around 40 to 50.
Okay, and that's probably more for a 2-week taper, but certainly by and that would be then the third week is the race week, actually. So yes, and by then, like literally, you're doing such minimal training. Yeah.
So that gradual decrease allows your body to adapt without that sudden stop of training. You know, because some of us actually feel good when we run and like to run,
and you can feel a bit crappy when if you suddenly decrease.
If you stop running, then you know it has a big effect not only physically but mentally.
So number 2, maintain intensity, but with shorter workouts. So I'll reduce the overall volume of my clients' run week, but then within the workouts, there'll still be intensity. But let's say they could, and I'm not saying this is what's in the program, I'm just using this as an example. Let's just say they've done 7 times 3 minutes. Normally you would reduce it, 4 times 3, those sorts of things. So you'd be reducing it down, and the week off, maybe 2 times 3 minutes. That's if you're doing that. Or, the week off, I often give them like a 10-minute tempo run as opposed to 25-minute earlier in the program. So, and it helps to maintain your race specific fitness. All right. So basically, I've said that. What's number 3?
So number 3 is to focus on recovery. So use the extra time during taper, because without all that running, like, instead of us spending 8 hours running this week, we'll probably only spend 6 hours running. So we'll have two whole hours.
Watch out.
So
you can start doing all the jobs around the house, right?
Right.
No, don't.
No. Okay.
Sorry, go on.
So so make sure you get enough sleep. Continue to eat nutritious meals, because you should be doing that
Once
already.
again, don't diet. No, it's not the time for cutting back.
And consider incorporating activities like yoga and foam rolling and stretching to aid in muscle recovery.
And I would recommend massage too. And don't go, if you've never done yoga, don't suddenly take it up then. Okay. And don't suddenly, like I said, don't suddenly start doing all the jobs around the house. Like, now is not the time to start, doing, really intense work at home, because suddenly you've got all this energy. You want to store that energy.
So don't paint the ceilings.
Yeah, God, no climbing up ladders with heavy loads and whatnot. All right, so number 4, stay mentally engaged. The taper can lead to restlessness and feelings of anxiety. So use this time to visualize your race. Imagine yourself getting to the start line, feeling good, starting the race, not going off at parkrun PB pace, but at a good pace, and visualize yourself crossing the finish line. And when I say visualize, I'm not just saying see the pictures, feel it, feel the feelings within yourself. Visualization works so much better when you actually feel it as well, and really feel the feelings within yourself. Review your race plan, or write one if you haven't yet, and just mentally prepare yourself. Like, I often think of what mantras I'm going to say at what point, or I think of what will I do if this happens, what would I do? If this happens, what would I do? And you go through the different scenarios of negative things that could happen. You're not being negative, you're actually being positive, because you're going, well, if I get lost, this is what I'll do. Or if I run out of water, whatever it is, okay? So really mentally, you should be, quite frankly, doing mental preparation beforehand. And speaking of, I do have my mental training for athletes coming up on Wednesday, the 6th of March. So that it is really popular, this one. It really helps. Heaps of tips, tricks, and strategies to help you deal with pre-race anxiety, to deal with all the race during it. And it's really awesome. I get a lot of really good feedback on that one. So get on the website and look for that. There is a common worry from a lot of people about weight gain during the taper. So should runners be concerned about that, Ron?
Well, weight gain during the taper is quite common, but it's usually temporary. you know.
It's only temporary.
So it's not permanent, and it's really not something to worry about. Just basically, it's a result of the body replenishing glycogen stores, while which can lead to water retention. Focus on fueling your body with nutritious foods and trust that your body knows what it needs to perform, especially on race day.
Yeah. So don't, you might put on a little bit. Honestly, like I said, no, it's not the time to diet. You could actually sabotage your race by going on a diet.
That's right.
Just eat the same. You might find your hunger drops off a little bit, and if that's the case, okay, don't eat what you normally would, but don't deliberately deny yourself in an effort not to put on weight.
That's right. And most people
you're not going to put on that much in 2 to 3 weeks, seriously.
And depending obviously on the length of the race, but most people will actually lose weight during the race. So if anything, you know, it might be
stocking up.
Good to put on a little bit of weight, because you're going to lose it. You'll use that fuel and energy.
And you know, if you're eating extra carbs, and because carbs do lead to water retention, you know, you're going to use that water on race day. Fear not. You know, you will use it. So just remember, the taper is actually an essential part of your training journey. Now, back in the olden days when I was a mountain bike racer, we didn't know about a thing called the taper. So we would train hard right up into the race. And guess what? I raced like shit because of that. And I remember once I went away on holiday, and I didn't do any riding for 2 weeks or something, and then I got back and I rode unbelievably fast and unbelievable. I was so good. I'm like, wow, I couldn't work it out, and then figured out it was the holiday.
So you decided to go on holiday before everybody.
Yeah, that's right. Good idea. But do you know what I mean? Like, this was a long time ago, where the training was actually chiseled into stone. So it was a bit harder to get access to. Anyway, so, but there's a lot more information available now, and people know taper is actually essential. It's not something you can go, oh no, taper doesn't work for me. What, have you actually evolved differently to every other human being on the planet? I highly doubt it. Everybody benefits from a taper. Trust in the process and have the confidence in the hard work you've put in leading up to this point. And this is also where a coach really helps, because you know that the coach has given you the correct work and is giving you a scientifically backed taper, not just one you've made up on the fly and you're not sure. There's no guesswork. This is all science, research, and real life, based. I've forgotten the word I'm looking for. So, a coach like myself and Ron and Zoe, we know exactly how to taper you correctly so that you'll be at your peak on race day. So embrace the taper as an opportunity to rest, recover, and fine-tune your mental and physical readiness for race day. Trust your training, trust yourself, and enjoy the race.
That's right, but also enjoy the
enjoy the taper.
Enjoy the taper. We train so hard. Yes, we run because we like to run, but just enjoy it. Just
see what other people, like the normal people, do.
We're constantly, when we're running along and we see people
going for a walk for their exercise,
carrying a coffee, we think that's their exercise.
Odd.
Yeah.
That would be like.
That's right.
And then I also say, but then they'd be finished in an hour.
Yeah.
We're still like they're slogging away, but then what would we do with that time?
That's right. We're also like, yeah, but then what do you do?
Yeah, what do you do all day? I don't get it. What do people do? But no, it's not the time to discover all the different things to do.
No, now's the time to discover that you've got all this spare time to relax.
Go see a movie with a loved one, that sort of thing. Do a puzzle with a loved one. Play some board games, Don't just scroll on social media in your taper. Actually, connect with your loved ones that you may potentially have neglected. I actually saw this meme today of someone holding up a placard at a triathlon going, and the placard said, as to the runners, because they were on the marathon leg of the triathlon by that stage, if you're still married, you didn't train hard enough. So don't be that person. Don't jeopardize your relationships for your running, because ultimately as much as it is important for your physical and mental health, relationships are also important for your physical and mental health. So maybe now is the time to, go to the movies, play, like I said, play some board games, do things where you're connecting with your loved one, not just, sending them a haha funny meme across the, you see that people go out for dinner and they sit there both on their phones. Like, seriously, they haven't got anything to talk about. Go talk, really be present.
Yeah.
And not thinking, oh my God, I'm getting so unfit. No, you're getting relationship fit at that point.
Yeah, very good. That's well done.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. I just made that up then.
Sounds great.
Cool. So I mean, we're lucky because our relationship is on the run too.
Yeah, that's right. We get to spend a lot of quality time together out on the trails. So,
whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, we'll see in 5 years.
That's right. Sometimes sometimes we need to just, maybe spread out a little bit. But I mean, we are lucky. We know we're lucky. We get to spend, time doing what we both love.
And we
together.
don't feel guilty going off running.
That's right.
Not
Yeah,
neglecting the other person.
Like we said, we can go off for an 8-hour run
and still have spent quality time together.
That's right.
So use this time for that sort of stuff, and also your recovery. Don't be so quick to get into running, but we'll talk more about that. We might do that in the next podcast.
Yeah.
But basically don't go, oh, well, then I'll get straight back into running. Use that time after running too to continue that connection with your relationships. And, I'm not saying, but it will get you brownie points too.
It will. Yeah.
So think of it that way. But yes, so that is the taper.
Yep.
We are now going to go and enjoy some nutritious food. We got a Woolies chook.
Yep.
Mexican salad
and some
wraps. We're going to sit down, do some Netflix binging, because if we didn't watch Netflix during dinner, we would never get to watch Netflix.
No, that's right, because basically, we ate a dinner.
We ate dinner, have a hot chocolate, and then the alarm goes off going, go to bed.
That's right.
And we go, okay. But sometimes I do say, I'm too tired to go to bed.
Yeah, sometimes we go, oh, it's time for bed, and then we look across at the door to the bedroom, and as I think I said last night, why does it have to be so far away?
Oh, it's just too far.
Yeah, sometimes it's just
work to get ready for bed, like brushing your teeth. So much work.
Well, that's about all I do to get ready for bed. So
that's all I do. I put face cream on. My attempt at a beauty regime.
That's right.
Face cream once a day. I don't wash my face or anything before, or whatever. What do women do? I don't know. There's a whole load of potions they put on to prepare for the face cream. I don't know what that is. I used to put hand cream on my face, but someone told me off for that. Not you. Someone I worked with were like, that's ridiculous. You need to use proper face cream. Okay. So I use face cream instead of hand cream. It's easier, you put on your hands, rub it on your face.
You actually still do that.
I do.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm afraid to say you still do that.
Because it's a habit. Anyway, enough of it. This is not a beauty podcast.
No, it's not a beauty podcast.
Clearly. Anyway, thanks for joining us. And so we talked about this. So if you are getting ready for Heart to Heart, keep it all in mind. And, do say hi. Do tell us that you listen to the pod. Do feel free to leave us a rating and a review. We would love that. And if you do leave a rating, a 5-star would be awesome.
It's generally much better. Yeah.
Yes. If you want to give us a 1-star, just don't do anything at all.
It's not even worth bothering.
Yeah. But it literally doesn't take long. No. I'm sure. I've never done it for anyone else, so I wouldn't. No, actually, I think I have. Anyway, so we'd love it. And thank you.
Just it's out on the trail, say hi.
Yeah. Even if it's not a Heart to Heart, if you see us, say hello. We do love seeing the people that listen, because then they become real to us, if you know what I mean, rather than just us. Because when we do this, we're looking at ourselves.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is kind of a bit weird.
It is.
Yes. All righty. Have a good one. We're off to eat chook. And we will catch you next time. And see you later, everyone.
Bye-bye.